break in. I'll do whatever it takes to get in. I come up with a new character.
Dolomite is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game.
All right, so what's this movie called again? I'm not good at that.
All right. The movie.
I always pick the wrong one.
It's My Name is Dolomite.
My Name is Dolomite.
All right, so
which was the first secret screening for Fantastic Fest.
Yeah, it was not what we all thought, which was the Breaking Bad movie.
I kind of hoped against that one.
I thought Joker. I mean, I did. This is the one I did not guess.
I wanted Cats.
Off the radar.
But anyways, My Name is Dolomite, which
your name is Aaron.
Fuck off. Which is the story of not Rudy Ray Moore, but that might be it.
It is Rudy Ray Moore.
It is Rudy Ray Moore, who was a failed singer and basically just a host of a comedy show who one day when he's really depressed, he's having a hard time reconciling who he is with who he wanted to be, comes up with the idea of this pimp character Dolomite, who we are not going to try to do it because we're not allowed to. But
I have a killer impression.
He cusses a lot and talks a lot about bitches and pimps, and it hits. And people love his character, and he really enjoys the adoration and gets semi-popular, has a couple of records on the Billboard list, and decides what he really wants to do and what he's always wanted to do is make a movie.
And that's
about the Dolomite character.
And that's like the central of this film.
Which it does seem like it does take like almost half the movie to get there. Though.
Well,
which is good, though. It's a good build-up.
They got to build up the character. And what was fun for me is, like, this is a story that we've heard about in film school. They always talk about the Dolomite story because he really did, like, go in and basically just kind of squat in this hotel while he shot the movie. So, but basically, he gets a crew together. He gets an actor who was in Rosemary's Baby to be the director, played amazingly by Wesley Snipes, and then they make this movie, which he wants it to be a kung fu movie with big titties and blood and cussing, because that's what people want to see.
Yes.
And they fill it with that. And it's one of those movies kind of like watching Ed Wood or Bowfinger, where the incompetence on hand almost makes it more endearing.
Wesley Snipes, it might be the most endearing I've found him in a movie in years.
Well, like, it's nice to see Wesley Snipes actually really caring and putting his heart into a movie.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the strength of this entire movie is the cast. Because, like, the movie itself, we're speaking, like, very candidly, is really cookie-cutter biopic sort of, I don't know, it's nothing very, like, there's nothing exciting happening with this format of, like, a Bad News Bear crew makes a movie. It's done 1,000 times. The thing that's exciting is the cast.
It's like, done with a lot of energy.
The energy and everyone's chemistry together. Eddie Murphy is really funny for the first time in a long time.
Well, it's a Dreamgirls level performance.
Divine Joy Randolph.
Yes, we want to call her out because she is phenomenal. She has a scene later on towards the end of the movie that brought me to tears. Like,
honestly, it's a wonderful movie. I'm glad Netflix has it because a lot of people should get to see it. And, I can't wait to actually watch it again. Which is not something I can say a lot about Fantastic Fest films, but I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, to me, it's a kind of a double-edged sword. Like, it is awesome that thousands of millions and millions of people are going to get to see it on Netflix. But so much of this movie, like, is about getting your movie in a movie theater and how it deserves to be seen by audiences and how the people get together and love it. And it's really ironic that it's coming out to your living room. If you are going to watch it at home, which you will, it's the only way to watch it, try to invite as many people over as you can and get, like, a good energy in that room to watch it.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
God damn, Dolomite.
Great God in heaven, you know.
So In the Shadow of the Moon is another film that played here that it will be coming out on Netflix. I actually was super excited to in fact see this movie in theaters.
Agreed.
As it turned out, because we don't know going into it. But I'll tell you, Boyd Holbrook, who is the star here, is somebody I've really grown to like a lot as an actor.
And he has to play a very diverse version of his character throughout this movie, and I think he kills it in each one. He's actually just really encompasses that.
When the film starts, we see it's 2027, and some sort of giant bad incident has happened where the skyscraper's all blown out, there's fires everywhere, and then it goes to 1988, and we're like, what the hell is going on here?
That's a hell of a turnaround.
Where Boyd is he's a beat cop, but he wants to be a detective, and he's clearly better at it than a lot of other people are, and he's one of those guys, he doesn't play by the rules. People have been suddenly and for no apparent reason violently bleeding out through their mouth and ears, and it turns out their brains have completely and instantaneously liquefied out through their body, which is gross. But they find these puncture marks in a pattern on all the victims' necks. The problem is, well, what is the connection here? Like, none of these people seem to have any relation to each other.
And they all died, like, at the same time, like, exact same moment. It's like, well, how could that happen?
How could that happen?
They're all across the city. And I gotta say, the 1988 still might be my favorite segment just because it's such a gritty cop investigative story. Some of the chase scenes are goddamn amazing.
Well, that's just it. He actually is good enough of a detective. He gets a lead, finds the person, played by Cleopatra Coleman, who people know from The Last Man on Earth.
Oh, right.
But she's great at this, and she's like, when he finds her, she says some weird stuff. She knows who he is, and then shit goes sideways. And they're like, okay, well, that was weird. And they're finding more stuff that's weird about the scenario. And then it flashes to 9 years later.
Yes.
And he is now a detective. He's a lot more respected. His partner was Bokeem Woodbine.
Yeah, Bokeem
right?
Woodbine, who I think was like Shocker in the new Spider-Man, stuff like that.
Who has also become a detective at this point, and they're still best buddies and doing their thing together. It starts happening again. And all the one shot that they have looks like it's exactly the same person. And of course, everybody's like, that's not possible. Couldn't possibly be the same person.
Because this person died pretty definitively.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that. And so it turns into, from a film that was a action chase film into a sci-fi actioner, still keeping all those elements of the traditional cop like thriller.
And that's where it just hits every button for me. I love a crime thriller, good cops like working hard at investigating like a crazy mystery, and then when you throw sci-fi into that, it's like, okay, you've really got me hooked here. And while it does slow down a little bit in the middle, I gotta say it sticks to the landing really hard for me too.
Yeah, there's a point right at the top of the third act where for about 15 minutes it stops dead, and it has to for emotional reasons to get to where it needs to go. The chase scenes are amazing in this. The way they do play out the sci-fi concept and the way it ends up paying off, I thought was really effective and cool. It actually does have a heart. I genuinely enjoyed this, and it's probably going to end up being in some of my top films of the festival.
I agree. I think it might still be my number one. I've got to reassess that long list of movies we've seen at this point.
And we still have more to see.
Exactly, but I absolutely adored it, and I can't recommend it enough when it comes out on Netflix.
If you kill me now, the world as you know it will end.
So I think any new movie by French director Quentin Dupieux is kind of an event. I mean, ever since Rubber, which was like the weirdest concept for a horror movie possibly ever made.
Fantastic Fest as well.
That was Fantastic
Still
Fest.
the only movie I had seen of his until just now.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, I mean, his results may vary, but I've liked everything I've seen by him to one extent or another. His latest, Deerskin, double sold me. Not only are his films always just weird in a way that no one else's movies are weird, but he has Jean Dujardin playing the lead role, which is largely the only primary member of the cast here. Yeah. Jean Dujardin has gone way out of his way after what seems like a failed marriage to track down this 60s fringe deerskin leather jacket that he is deeply into.
That he pays like 8,000 euros
to quote himself when he sees it, fuck.
Yeah. And he is so into it. And the jacket starts talking to him and convinces him that he needs to make sure that no one else in the world can wear jackets. Get rid of all the jackets.
His dream is to live in a world where he's the only one with the jacket, and it's obvious because he has killer style, and he should be the one with the jacket.
So I had some issues with the first act of this movie. There's a lot of awkward scenes where, like, I don't like cringe comedy, so I was really having a hard time. And once he first creates what is a really surprisingly creative and cool weapon and starts offing people who wear jackets, like, the movie becomes increasingly better as the movie goes on. It has a couple of maybe my favorite kills I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, there's some fun creative, and it surprised me because I think this is his most accessible movie.
Yeah, hard to
he's
say that about this,
and it's
but
still
yeah.
weird as hell. And the beginning is very slow, but it's also a pretty brisk, 85 minutes.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
super short.
This movie is a very simple metaphor. I won't get into the subtext of it. It's very easy to get it. A guy's failed marriage, middle aged. It spells itself out.
Yeah.
But he just sets that very simple premise, and the plot mechanics, everything doesn't need to make sense. He's no concern with it being at all believable or existing in the real world. But it somehow makes that point really poignant, and it can be really funny and have a point, and it's something that's just unique in filmmaking in general. I mean, it's an 83-minute movie that's absurd with the jacket talking, and I was just man, I kind of was moved by parts of it. It's really weird,
weirdly
magic trick that he pulls off.
Yeah, it is a strange magic trick because there's no reason you should have any affection for this
he's
crazy
no close
guy.
to being even a human.
Yeah,
let alone a good human.
Like I said, there's that level of like I said, it's absurd. It's not it's totally this couldn't happen, but it couldn't because you're there's just something so otherworldly about the scenario, but everything about it draws you into it in a sort of affectionate, endearing sort of way. So I think we all are on the same page. Pretty enjoyable. His most accessible film, while still might be too weird for some. It's bloody, but not ridiculously gory. And I think genuinely this is the entry point into this guy's films.
Yeah, if start here and go back. Yeah. You can probably go back in order.
Yeah, I know, because I remember Rubber. That's definitely the most extreme.
Yeah, for sure.